Before there was blue, there was fire. The earth was young, restless, and burning. Its surface was a sea of molten rock, its air a haze of steam and smoke. And in that chaos, something ancient was arriving. Across the newborn solar system, shards of ice drifted through the dark. They were fragments of forgotten worlds, comets, asteroids, frozen messengers carrying the memory of distant stars. When they struck the Earth, they didn't bring destruction. They brought change. Each impact released vapor and minerals that rose, cooled, and fell as rain. For centuries, the sky poured endlessly. Boiling oceans formed over continents of black stone. Those first rains may have lasted millions of years. Enough to fill every crater, enough to cool a world of fire into a world of steam. Imagine it, lightning flashing through a purple sky, oceans rising from vapor, mountains dissolving under endless storms. In that relentless downpour, the elements mixed: iron, carbon, oxygen, the ingredients of everything that would ever live. Water wasn't simply arriving, it was assembling creation itself. Thunder became the first sound this planet ever heard. And water, simple, transparent, fragile, began to rewrite the face of a world. It filled the basins carved by impacts. It pooled in the cracks where continents would someday drift apart. And beneath its surface, the earth began to breathe for the first time. The crust cooled, the winds calmed, and the first reflections of sunlight shimmered on a liquid mirror. Scientists still argue about where Earth's water truly came from, whether it was born within the mantle or carried from the stars. But maybe it doesn't matter, because wherever it came from, it found a home here. And from that moment forward, the story of Earth became the story of water. Look at the planet today, that shimmering sphere of blue against the black of space. 70% of its surface wrapped in liquid light. Every wave, every storm, every drop, a memory of that ancient rain. Water became the planet's first artist, and its brush never stopped moving. Because once the oceans were born, water discovered its true power, not just to exist, but to shape. Once the oceans settled, water began to move, not in chaos, but with purpose. It flowed, froze, fell, and rose again. And through every movement, it began to sculpt the world. Rivers cut through mountains that once seemed eternal. Raindrops gathered strength, merging into streams, carving valleys that stretched for miles. Over ages, a single drop became a canyon. A single wave became a coastline. A single glacier became the hand that reshaped entire continents. Stand before the Grand Canyon, and you're standing before water's patience. Each layer of rock tells a story written in flow. Stand in Iceland, where rivers run beside fire, and you see water's endurance, taming lava, cooling creation itself. Even mountains bow to it. The Himalayas, the Andes, they rise only to be washed down, grain by grain, by melting snow and endless rain. And as ice spread across the poles, its weight pressed the crust beneath it. When that ice melted, the land lifted again, rebounding toward the sky. Water carved, compressed, and lifted, like a planet breathing in slow motion. You can still see its fingerprints today. The looping meanders of rivers viewed from orbit, the shining scars of glaciers across Canada and Siberia. Every pattern, every curve, a memory of motion. Even deserts tell water's story. They're the shadows left behind when rivers die. Stand there long enough and you can almost hear it. The echo of vanished rain, the whisper of what once flowed. The sculptor leaves beauty and silence in equal measure. It doesn't hurry, it doesn't rest. It wears away what time alone could never touch. That's why geologists call it the planet's most powerful sculptor. Not because it strikes fast, but because it never stops. And through that endless work, water shaped the stage for everything that came after. the soil we plant in, the rivers that sustain us, the landscapes we call home. But the same force that creates beauty can also bring ruin. Because when the balance breaks, when the sea rises, when the river floods, when the storm grows too strong, the sculptor turns into something else. A destroyer. What water builds over millennia, it can erase in a moment. And when it does, the planet remembers who's truly in control. For all its grace, water carries another truth. It is not gentle. It never was. When the balance tips, when heat and gravity conspire, water becomes unstoppable. A river that once nurtured life can rise overnight and devour the very land it fed. A sea, calm at dawn, can rise 100 feet by noon. One wave, one moment, everything changes. Tsunamis travel faster than airplanes, their energy carried from the deep with unimaginable force. When they strike, the earth itself seems to recoil. The walls of water that hit Japan in 2011 carried the power of thousands of nuclear bombs. A reminder that water doesn't need anger to destroy, just motion. And above, the skies gather their own kind of power. When billions of tons of vapor swirl into hurricanes and typhoons, the ocean lifts into the air to reclaim the land. Cities flood, mountains crumble, and even our mightiest machines are left helpless against the tide. Yet, in every storm, there is still a strange beauty. Lightning reflecting off waves, rain hammering the sea like drums of creation. It's chaos and rhythm all at once, destruction and design. Every time the planet resets, water writes the next chapter. Civilizations rise along rivers, and water gives them life, until it takes it back. It's not vengeance, it's balance, and balance is how the earth endures. Every force we uncover leads to another mystery. Don't just watch, journey with us. Subscribe, and let's keep following where the earth leads. After all the violence, after the floods and waves retreat, what remains is silence. But within that silence, something begins again. Seeds hidden in the mud, coral rebuilding beneath the waves, forests growing where rivers once drowned the land. Destruction, followed by renewal, an ancient rhythm that never breaks. Because water doesn't destroy to end, it destroys to start over. Out of ruin, it brings life, and in that rebirth, we find the truest measure of its power. When the storms quiet and the waters settle, the planet exhales, and from that silence, life begins. Beneath the early oceans where volcanic heat met cold seawater, minerals mixed and chemical sparks ignited something miraculous. From the darkness, the first living cells emerged, fragile, microscopic, and endlessly curious. They fed on the Earth's warmth and multiplied in the safety of the sea. And for billions of years, water guarded them like a cradle. Even now, every drop of blood in your veins echoes the ocean's chemistry. We carry its salt, its rhythm, its memory. Look closely and you'll see water's fingerprints everywhere. In the dew on a leaf, in the mist that rises from your breath, in the clouds drifting above mountains and deserts alike. Every living thing, from a single bacterium to a whale, depends on water to exist. It is the bridge between the physical and the living, between rock and soul. Coral reefs flourish where warm currents flow, cities of color, pulsing with energy and light. Rainforests breathe through the moisture that clings to their leaves, feeding rivers that never truly end. Even the deserts, seemingly lifeless, bloom for a heartbeat when rain finally returns. Water teaches us that life is not permanent. It's cyclical. It moves, transforms, evaporates, and returns, always becoming something new. That's why cultures across time have worshipped it, feared it, prayed for it. They knew, even without science, that without water, nothing survives. It connects everything, oceans to atmosphere, soil to seed, creature to creator. It turns dust into life. And it binds us to this planet more deeply than we realize. When we look at Earth from space, we don't see continents first. We see blue. It's water that gives our planet its identity, its shimmer, its pulse, its name, the blue planet. And that color, that endless blue, is life itself, reflected back at the stars. But even life is only part of the story, because water doesn't begin or end with us. It moves through everything, endlessly, silently, forever. Every drop that falls has already fallen before. The water in your glass once raged as a storm, froze as a glacier, drifted in clouds over deserts long vanished. It has traveled across mountains, through roots, through the veins of creatures, and the cracks of stone. Water is the planet's oldest traveler, and it never stops moving. Evaporating under sunlight, it rises, weightless and invisible. Carried by winds, it crosses oceans, only to fall again as rain a world away. That same rain will feed rivers, sink into soil, vanish underground, or return to the sea. No beginning, no ending, just motion. It's called the hydrological cycle, a phrase too small for what it really is. The planet breathing. When oceans evaporate, Earth exhales. When clouds break and rivers run, it inhales again. Through that pulse, everything lives. And hidden within that movement lies time itself. Ancient water, sealed for millennia inside glaciers, tells stories of past climates, forgotten atmospheres, and extinct lives. Each frozen layer is a page from the Earth's diary, waiting to be read. But the story doesn't belong only to the past. It's happening now. In every wave that breaks, every droplet that falls, every tear, every tide. We are surrounded by this living memory, and we are made of it. When we breathe, when we sweat, when we cry, we're part of the same endless current. That's why water never truly disappears. It doesn't die, it only changes form. And through that constant transformation, Earth renews itself. It heals, reshapes, rebalances, even when it seems broken beyond repair. That's the quiet miracle of this element. It never gives up on the planet it built. So the next time you watch the rain slide down your window, or see fog rising over a field, remember, you're witnessing a drop's eternal return. A story billions of years old, still unfolding around you. Because in the end, water isn't just part of the Earth. It is the Earth. Its pulse, its memory, its reflection. And every wave you see is time itself, moving toward forever. We measure time in centuries. Water remembers eons. It shaped our lands, built our clouds, and filled our hearts with rhythm. It connects continents, carries the whispers of storms, and reflects the light of every sunrise. It flows through the smallest root and the deepest trench, tying all life to one endless movement. Even now, as you listen, that movement continues, unseen but unbroken. Rivers are running somewhere. Rain is falling somewhere. The ocean is breathing in and out, like a living being. And though we try to command it, to dam it, to drain it, to measure it, water belongs to no one. It moves on its own time. It follows gravity, wind, and the memory of creation itself. It is the keeper of Earth's balance, and the reminder that nothing truly stands still. When you watch the sea fold into itself, you're seeing the planet's oldest story repeat. When you feel the rain touch your skin, you're touching something that once fell on ancient worlds. Water is past and future, presence and return. And that's the secret it carries. It doesn't just sustain life. It is life. The quiet rhythm beneath every living thing. The pulse of a planet still learning to breathe. So the next time you stand by the ocean or hear rain against glass, Pause. Listen closely. Because that sound, that gentle, endless movement, is the voice of the earth itself. Perhaps that's why humans have always been drawn to water. Cities clinging to coasts, temples beside rivers, stories born from the sea. We see ourselves in its moods: calm, violent, forgiving, restless. Poets call it reflection, scientists call it equilibrium. But to the planet, it's simply life continuing its dance. And long after we're gone, the tides will keep rising and falling, carving new worlds where ours once stood. Because water doesn't remember us individually. It remembers the world as a whole. Water shaped everything we know. But it's just one story among many. Subscribe to Tectonic Ocean and uncover the rest.